Your attention. Do I have your attention? Do I have your attention?
3, 2,
let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We're reaching for the top, and we'll never go below.
I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feel? My hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, hair.
How about that? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chill Chatter Podcast. I am Q.
I'm Isha.
Okay.
I was yawning, but then I had remembered that I was on and I had never mind.
Lord, it be your face. Hi, everybody. I'm Kay. I'm good now. Oh my God. What up, everybody? How is everybody doing? And welcome to season 3 continuation of Cheer Chatter Podcast. Who's all watching? Everybody chime on in. All right, nephew. Hey, nephew. I saw the comment on Instagram. Hey, nephew. How you doing?
That my child?
It is. It is.
Oh, God.
I got
my son.
Hey, Neff. Watching. Gotta give him kudos.
Hold on. I'm trying to get to the thing.
What y'all doing? Cheer chattering. That part. You know he always asks that question. You with the cheer chatter? I hate these.
Let me go so I could
So who's watching? Chime in. Let us know who's currently checking us out via Instagram, via Facebook, via YouTube. Let us know who's all out there and watching.
Wait, so he spoke to y'all ain't speak to his own mama?
Well, we said hey to him, so I think that's why he spoke back. I'm just saying.
We talked already today. It's fine.
Hey, nephew. So you know how to work. So we are. This is our 3rd episode. For this particular season. You know, of course, we have some ideas and things that we want to, happen for the upcoming season, cheer season, and everything. We definitely have some great news to share with you all. Not today, but real soon. We'll be breaking that down for y'all and breaking that good news off to what is. So he say.
I didn't know he was on. I didn't see his little comment.
Say
I wasn't on the live yet.
Wow. It's his reply.
Talking about you ain't greet me on your own platform. Sir. Hi, Nigelique. How are you doing? Hi, Nueve 9. Are you doing well tonight?
He cracks me up.
Doing well this evening, sir.
But so we do have an array of topics that we want to kind of touch on today. So but first, how y'all doing? It's Sunday. We're almost out of September. Somebody got a birthday coming up this weekend. Somebody celebrated a birthday last weekend. Like, what's going on? So
Ooh,
I want everyone to wish Isha
ooh,
a
chill,
happy belated, although she celebrates the entire month,
that
but
part.
a happy belated
It's
birthday.
not just a month this year. It's
I'm
when I feel
sorry.
like stopping. It's
Yeah,
beyond the month.
she gonna go for the whole rest of the year or even to next year, however way she feels. That's what she doing. So happy birthday, Isha May.
Thank y'all.
And can we
Appreciate
say
it.
is not no, your age, no sharing of the age? Be okay with that?
I'm okay with that. I'm coming to terms with it, and it is a blessing
Amen.
to have reached such a big age.
We were
Um,
welcoming her to the 40s.
yes.
Amen.
We
I don't feel
recently
extra
I
old
recently had a
anymore.
classmate not make it there. So, I'm realizing it's
Absolutely.
much more of a blessing than running away from it. So
Yeah.
I'm embracing.
End of the day, 40 is turning into the new 20s and 30s. So it really
I
Listen,
don't want it to be the new none of that. It's
listen.
40.
It's
I
a
wish people
different
stop having that excuse.
me
It's
is
40.
besides the check engine light come on soon as you hit 40. But as far as just life experiences and just seeing things from a different perspective, is definitely heightened when you get in your 40s. It's definitely a different experience from your 20s and your 30s. I'm 4 years in the 40 gang, so it has been I will say my own personal experience, these last 4 years have been the best years for me,
Amen.
honestly. Just in everything aspect of just life itself, parenting as a woman, as a sister, as a daughter, friend. This has been a tremendous, and it has been an amazing experience since I hit 40. So definitely things become a little bit clearer. And I don't know if it's, because you hit 40, I don't know, but this thing's a lot different, once you get into this
I,
age.
I think with all the shenanigans I have experienced this good 2024, I'm gonna blame it on Cat Williams. However, all this shenanigans that I have faced thus far, I think is preparing me mentally to tackle the rest of this decade. And I'm here for it because I see the strength. I feel it. And sometimes, I have to use some discernment
Hey.
before I carry out actions that I probably would have 20 years ago. However,
Mhm.
I think I'm adjusting well so far.
That's all. That's it. That is it. All right. So and then Kay will be celebrating this weekend. And she's gonna be celebrating with her baby. She's gonna go see her baby this weekend. We
I
both are. I'll be heading to Baton Rouge on Thursday for family and friends weekend at the Louisiana State University. LSU go Tigers.
And I will be heading to Tallahassee, Florida for that good Florida A&M University to celebrate Go Rattlers.
Hey.
And I get to look at Dion and his missing toes at the University of Central Florida game as they take on Colorado.
In Colorado, is it local?
It's in Orlando.
Okay. Not the missing toes. That took me out. Wait a minute.
Why Prime toes got to be a mention? Leave his toes
Let's
alone.
say the missing toes. They kind of caught me
I mean, it kind of come with the territory. It come with the territory.
a really good game that they played this
Last night, that game was really good, and it went in overtime.
week. Did.
I ain't watch it. My
Oh,
I didn't want to watch it at first because I was watching the UM and USF game, which started out really good.
really?
Yeah, USF was giving them a good game up until the middle of third quarter. And then UM just took off from there. But that was a pretty decent game. And then I switched over in the middle of that game. Ashley, not the missing toes.
Yes, I'll be in the presence
Yeah.
of
Then I switched over to the Colorado game. So, yeah. But it was a good game though. It was a really good game.
That mean I have to go back and watch some
Yes.
games because I was not in the mental capacity to pay attention to football yesterday.
Oh,
You
you
was
were
on,
not.
oh, I was gonna say you was in these streets, honey.
I was
Yeah.
definitely in the streets.
Hey, that's I advocate for being in the streets, baby.
I don't live in them, but I do play in them.
And
Hello, I
I'm,
like that. We
I
gotta
am.
put it on the t-shirt. I live in it, but I don't play it on. That's it.
Ooh, terrible.
But so I mean, we do have some topics that we want to cover today. I think the first thing that we should kind of discuss is cheerleading as a sport. Now, for a very long time, and although it's probably a sport here in the state of Florida and maybe a few other states, but I just saw recently that the state of Pennsylvania just petitioned to make cheerleading a sport in that particular state. And I mean, I want to say maybe like a week ago is when I saw it on the headlines that the state of Pennsylvania is petitioning to turn cheerleading into a sport. So, coming from our own experiences, I cheer in the 1900s. So, then cheerleading was not classified as a sport. We didn't have a state championship. The only way that we were able to do any type of competition was during summer camp, and that was to get a bid to NCAA nationals. Other than that, the only competing we did was on the basketball court, doing half times. So how do you all feel about cheerleading in the state that it is now, and like where it came from?
I think when we were cheering in high school, they were try the competitive thing a little bit. I believe we competed against other schools, like more so that I think they were starting BCAA, trying to start BCAA cheer competition. And then for a few years it stopped. I'm kind of glad to see the direction in which cheer has changed, or not really changed, but progressed is the word I would say I would use. Reason being, it is really competitive and it really is entertaining to watch. Um, just as much as girls don't have many sports as is, although we do have like flag football, girls basketball, it doesn't necessarily get the notoriety that it should. Um, they usually show up when it's their particular school, but like to go or get the crowd in which you get from a boys championship game is totally different. Um, so I am glad in the direction in which cheer is going. I'm excited to see how much it continually progresses. I would love to see it at that because I'm mad that they picked breakdancing, and I don't know what the devil that was this year because they could have put cheering in it and been more entertaining than the foolishness in which we were watching from the Olympics this year. But that's just my take.
I had the pleasure of doing 3 BCAA competitions when I was in high school. Trying to make sure I'm right. I'm almost positive it was 3. Um, and they at the time were doing like an individual competition where like individual girls were competing like they would do at some of those bigger competitions in the past. You know how they have the individual stunt groups, and then they would have also individual cheerleaders. They didn't have the individual stunt groups, but they did that. Blah, blah. They did have the individual cheerleaders, which I thought was cool. But I think there's still some way to go, and I think because of the people that are in position to make cheer go in the direction that it should be going are not well versed in cheer. They are not bringing in people that know and understand cheer, so I think that's why we're kind of seeing a halt. I don't want to say the whole South Florida, but I want to say in Broward County as far as expanding the notoriety for it. Um, but on a national level, I think it's kind of weird that we still haven't had it considered a sport through all 50 states. Um considering that there is a sport in college, not at all colleges, where it's more stunting, and I want to say it's called stunt, but it's cheerleaders. They look like they're more in volleyball uniforms and they do a lot of stunts. Um and it's kind of considered on that cheer realm, and then you have competitive cheer, which is separate from your sideline cheerleading for football and basketball, who are going to compete at the national competitions. So I don't understand what one the other states who are not have not considered cheer a sport are waiting on, or acro. Yes, Torrance, thanks, it is called acro. And Zedric, I think we all having a good night. I think we all are. um, but I I don't know. I don't know what the NCAA is waiting on. It would help them out with their what is it called?
Title,
Title nine, Title five, what whichever number it is,
it's Title
of
Nine.
balancing the female and male sports scholarships. It will help with that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what we're waiting on. It won't take away from NIL. I don't see cheerleading being big on the NIL side, so you won't have to deal with that yet. However, it'll help y'all keep males. It'll help them keep male sports. So I don't understand what the holdup is.
I love
Well,
the colleges that actually offer girl scholarships for cheerleading. I think that's amazing. In some schools it's just as big as offering scholarships for football and things of that nature. I know University of Kentucky was really big on cheer scholarships at one point. I don't know if they still are, but even at state, we've only seen two schools that have come to scout girls at cheer competition, which is the UCF and Florida State. Love the fact that they're scouting these girls and actually giving them an opportunity. I realized that actually Flomo is now crossing over to um, more of the cheer world as well. So they might enter the realm of offering scholarships at some point for those particular girls. But
Flomo been offering scholarships for cheer. It may not have been that much, but they back when I could say when I was in college, they were giving people some money to come cheer.
yeah.
gotcha.
They
And the
were.
same thing I know at Bethune, they offered I think it was room and board and books.
Yeah.
So I know some colleges do offer, something, whether it's room and board, whether it's, whatever. But I do know some colleges do offer, scholarships. And I mean, it may not be on the same level as, some of the other sports, but it's something, more than not having something at all. Um,
Correct.
right now, 31 states recognize cheerleading as a sport. 31. Um,
All right. The other
What other seen it?
uh
Yeah, so right now it's only 31 states, and I think if the NCAA was to turn or allocate or recognize cheerleading as a sport, I think it would be a whole lot bigger than what it is. And I think a lot of states are probably waiting for them to recognize it. I don't know, but I think like Isha said, that I think once the NCAA recognized cheerleading as a sport, which I think it would help the Title IX, um, as far as balancing the male females and everything like that. But I think once that is recognized as a sport, I think a lot of states probably would get on board. But right now, only 31 states, 31, and I wonder if it includes Pennsylvania or not. But 31 sports right now recognize cheerleading as a sport.
I wonder what 31
States. I'm
that
sorry.
is, because cheerleading may be popular in those 31 states and may not be popular in the other 19, so to speak. But
Yeah, that's a good thing to pull up. Which states are not recognizing it?
All
I
right,
want
I'm gonna look for them now.
to know because they might do. I hate to say this because it's gonna make East roll her eyes. They might not focus on cheer because they just might be a stump and shake stuff and shake type of state where they, the cheerleaders just more so perform for the crowd, the sports or whatever. They may not stunt or anything of that nature. Kind of like just there for performance wise and spirit wise. It might not be a big thing where it is. But I would love to see the list of the 31 states. That might, you know,
But we have to remember that stump shoot, my phone doesn't feel. We have to remember that stump and shake is primarily a HBCU kind of style of cheer, and it's
yeah,
trickling down to your high schools and parks. Obviously through old people who alumni of those cheer teams coming back and coaching, or social media and things of that nature. So I don't think these states are stump and shake states. I think they're just not big on cheer. And something to kind of piggyback off what you said, Izedric said a little while ago. He said for high school, I know some states have restrictions on what stunts you can and cannot do because of the danger of them. Because I cheered with some teammates in college and that said that they can't perform what we do here in Florida. So that makes a lot of sense. It kind of doesn't make sense to make cheer a sport in those states if they are afraid of the dangers that come with the stunts.
correct.
Um, so we'll keep it at minimum, and it'll just kind of be show. Ruben say, "Hey, cheer chatter." Hey, Ruben.
Hey, Ruben.
But I
Um,
remember California at one point was going back and forth because a girl got seriously injured coming out of a stunt. She was in a coma for a while due to a really bad fall out of a stunt. So I do agree that some states may be up and down with making it a sport and restricting what they do, because cheer does entail a lot, especially
Well,
on the body.
shouldn't they? Well,
but
shouldn't they
if
do
that's
the
the
same
case,
thing with any
then we could
sport
be doing
then?
that with football because
Football,
people have
basketball,
lifelong
I think that
and it's
injuries.
some sports that have. It's some states that reckon they have hockey. You know what I'm saying? I don't know no sport where you cannot get an injury
But I
from.
think because they feel as though cheer has no protective equipment. So
That's the mat.
true enough. But remember, at one point we weren't using the mat. They just made the mats mandatory years ago.
Because I feel to say we practice in the cafeteria on the tile floor.
I know,
Or
I-
in the gym
and
on the hardwood.
some quite a few people, God forgive us, had hit. You know,
And I mean, that's another topic, that I threw out there as far as injuries are concerned.
Mhm.
You get some pretty serious injuries as
You
cheerleaders. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm finna play devil's advocate. I don't agree with what I'm saying, but I'm playing devil's advocate. So when it comes to cheer, you are predominantly dealing with girls, which means you're probably going to predominantly deal with moms.
Mhm.
When there is a injury in like football or something like that, you more so dealing with dads. They okay with it. This is what come with the sport, but moms go over the top. Now we want to sue and we want to do things that are unnecessary with the things that going into the sport, but not my baby. My baby can't have that. Not only that, I think cheer with the direct reflection of what could possibly happen, and there not being protective gear
Mhm.
can cause very high insurance rates when
Mhm.
it comes to those counties or states who have to carry the insurance for those for the sake of whatever injury that could possibly happen. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. These are not my personal views.
But I get it. I do get it. moms are, God forgive, God, because we are moms, but moms are a little bit more of the helicopter parents, a little bit more overprotective, a little bit more demanding. So I could definitely understand where you're coming from on that piece, as far as not wanting to deal with moms. Dads are a little bit more okay with injuries. Shake it off, he'll be all right. Go ahead, get that fixed, and you going back to the field. So I get it. Um, I think because it is more open, your body parts are actually being used with lifting people. Um, children are up in the air because of other children. It's a lot that plays a role in when it comes to cheer, that can make certain states a little what's the word I'm looking for, a little bit more,
Reluctant.
yeah, reluctant with making cheer a sport, because then maybe it falls on them to provide insurance, like you said, or more accountability and responsibility on the state when it comes to making it a sport. It the parents are holding the state more reliable for their kids, as far as, if my child get hurt, then what?
I mean, it's like with any sport. You get what I'm saying? You have parents who do the same thing when it comes to football, same thing when it comes to basketball, track and field, baseball, volleyball. Uh, Regardless, you can get injured walking down the stairs. You can get injured walking down the street. You can get injured sleeping. You can get injured getting in and out of the tub. You
But
can
I
get injured any type of way. So at the end of the day, the same liability that any sport has when it comes to making sure that they have the certified coaches, making sure you have a training staff, making sure you have, like we live in Florida, so it's all, during the summer times it's hot. So they had to create a law to say that they have to have water breaks. After a certain amount of hours, they have to have water. All of this stuff is the same as any sport. It's going to come with liabilities. It's going to come with injuries. It's going to come with. So at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't want your child to get injured, keep them in the house in a bubble.
get that part. I think it's more so a little different with cheerleading, being that we're lifting people up in the air. With other sports, they're level. They're on, everybody's on the ground. Nobody's body parts are reliable on somebody else. That flyers basically is relying on the people underneath her. Literally speaking, there's nobody doing acrobatic type of things when it comes to certain sports in a particular in the sports world. Everybody is literally on level ground, but with cheer it's a little different. That's just like with a lot of schools don't make gymnastics a sport, so to speak, like that either, as far as high school is concerned, with the fact that they're flipping, they're twirling on poles and things of that nature. It's
I
big,
think that's more so for money because you would have to deal a whole new complex to put
correct,
gymnastics
but
in. And yeah,
And if
people
it's
ain't got
not
that kind of
popular
money.
in that state or in that area, kind of like it's minute. You know what I'm
but
saying?
basically like a child is actually being lifted by another child. That's a,
But you got a child tackling another human being. That's about the same as throwing somebody up in the air too.
but that's on level
It's a
ground.
liability,
Level,
regardless.
they're both on level ground though.
It's still a
But
liability.
I feel like all of them are a liability, and Torrance kind of said it best. To be honest, it's not respected on a level that would get it to get that
Recognition.
sports name. It'll help out a whole lot, but it's not respected in that light because when you think about cheer, um, okay, let's just break it down. To I feel like I said, I feel that we will see more high schools making cheer a sport statewide when we see the NCAA make it a sport.
I said that.
NCAA is not going to make it a sport because of who sits on the NCAA boards, and who sits on the NCAA boards are men.
I was
And when they see cheerleaders, they're cute. Actually, on a professional level, they're dancers, and a lot of people don't understand the difference between the cheerleaders that we're talking about and the cheerleaders that they see on Sundays. They're two totally different things. We don't characterize them as cheerleaders. We characterize them as dancers that stand on the sideline with pom poms. We don't cheer in boots. Okay, so let's debunk that. However, these men see it as a showcase. They see it as eye candy. They don't know the details and the depths of what we do in cheer that makes it so competitive. They don't understand how, and we say it all the time, that cheer is very subjective. How something so subjective can be a real competition where there is a winner at the end. But let's make it clear that some of these calls that y'all make with football and basketball, they be
Mm-hmm.
well, because I be trying to where that flag come from.
I
Attack
mean, and
football.
all sports have rules, regardless of whatever, they have rules that you have to abide by. Fouls, personal fouls, or for football, you got if you targeting, and you have rules that you have to abide by, and that is to
They
keep
barely
the
follow.
players safe as well as to keep the game going. As far as cheerleading is concerned, just like you have to be certified to do certain things, you should be certified to coach. That way, what you're doing, what you're talking about, how to keep your girl safe. I know in the state of Florida, all sports have to have a trainer in close proximity just in case for taping, for injury concerns, or whatever not. I hear everything y'all saying. Of course, I agree with what Torrance said and what each should piggyback off of. It's not respected, and like I said before, until the NCAA recognizes it as a sport, it's we're cheerleading is just going to be what it is, just a little club or a little hobby
But I
that
mean, even in college, it still somewhat follows the avenue of professional. The girls are, although they cheer on the sidelines, they're more so with palms flipping. Um, they do stunt, but it's more so for spirit stunting. Yes, the guys lift the girls, but the girls are just up in the air, waving their hands, showing spirit and things of that nature.
They cheer. They don't have very lengthy worded cheers. You're
No,
gonna get a
that's what I'm saying.
defense, you're gonna get a let's go team, you're gonna get some color shouts,
Correct,
get
but
run the ball.
a
not
lot of crowd involvement.
Yeah, but a whole lot of crowd involvement. Why I can't talk? Um, However, because it's in such a large stadium and
Mhm.
people are more so into the games, the people that they're cheering in front of aren't
Paying
as
attention.
involved as you would like them to be.
Mhm.
Um, so they kind of get looked past. But me being a cheer person at a football game, I always take time to look at the cheerleaders, and they got signs, they got their megaphones, they have their palms. They're really doing game day on the sideline.
Correct. But
They
what?
get involved with whatever the whole stadium thing is. They
But what?
interact with the band, they interact with the dancers, they have this whole
But
show that they have. However, it's just not paid attention to, and it goes
correct.
into what we were saying, it's not respected.
It goes back to the mention of it's kind of given the same vibe as the NFL vibe. Because when do these people actually go see the cheerleaders pass beyond at a football game?
I
It's not.
wouldn't compare it to the NFL because the NFL, they're not saying anything. They're dancing.
No, I'm saying what I mean is it's somewhat following the same realm as far as people not paying attention to them as much. So even if the NCAA does think about it, it's like when do they see the cheerleaders besides when they go to a football game? It's not like they're
So
actually going to a competition or to their practices to see them, so to speak. So at what point will they step outside of their realm to actually give it a genuine chance?
It's gonna take somebody to go into the NCAA that
Actually
that
pay attention.
understands, and it's not even about paying attention. It has to be understood that this is a sport and this is what it is.
So I just saw something when I was trying to find the list of states that have approved or recognized it as a sport. But this was interesting that the NCAA doesn't recognize it because how do you, have football, have their games, and then, whatever, basketball, you have your games and you have your conference championship, whatever tournament, and then tournament. Their thing is, how do they do that for cheerleading? How does cheerleading have a regular season and then have a conference championship and then have a national championship? How does that go? How do you create that? This was a conversation piece that they had on the article I just saw. Like, how does the NCAA recognize cheerleading as a sport if they can't have a regular season and a conference season, a conference championship, and then a national championship?
Tournaments. Duh.
I was just
I
gonna say
think the minis, like how
high school.
Broward do it, they have the mini competitions where, and I think that definitely needs to be, put back on the table and redone, because it doesn't make sense.
But
Right now they
it's
just do,
men.
huh?
It's coming from men.
Right. It's coming from people that don't, like I said, you have people that are in BCAA that don't really understand, that's making the final decisions on things. And it's not coming from people that really understand it.
And remember,
Um,
we had this conversation with the powers that be with BCAA, and we was explaining to him after one competition why that a lot of things aren't making sense. Remember, Kamisha, Kay?
Yeah, I do.
We was having that conversation. I'm sorry, Isha.
no. So you got people that's trying to do things that they don't understand and not bringing in people that do understand.
Mm-hmm.
But that only makes sense on the collegiate level, and it would work out better because, like, for instance, in Broward County, the minis would basically be the few schools in Broward that you kind of go and you have these little mini competitions with. It's not a million schools in Broward County, and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to see each other at BCAA and then again at regional, and then of course it might split up at state. But on a national level with colleges, okay, you have these people that you see in your minis, for lack of better terms, and then you'll probably see them at your conference championship. But are all of these people going to be the people that you go against in your nationals? Probably not. So it only makes more sense on the collegiate level to do something like that.
Pretty
But
much how you do football.
they don't ask us.
Well, and also too, you have to think about it. It's different. It's different. What's the word I'm looking for? Divisions.
Mm-hmm.
You got your small, your mediums, your large, your extra large. You got your non-tumblers. You got your tumblers. You got your co-eds. So there's so many divisions. And there's not that many schools in each conference. So how would they break that down to say, hey, what division, like, you know what I'm saying? So if you have a conference of 10 schools, 12 schools, 10 schools, 12 schools, or whatever, if how do you differentiate that in this was the conference play? Because if you have all co-eds or you have all you get what I'm saying?
But don't most schools have a co-ed team and an all-girls team?
It
Not all schools
depends
have
on
to.
when you're talking about competitive cheer,
Yeah.
it's different than what you see on
Sidelines.
game day.
Probably be easier to just have different categories um based on divisions, so to speak. And then nationally, everybody is based on how they do state here. 1A, 2A, and things of that nature. It's a way of divvying it up. It's just a matter of somebody putting in the work to do so. But I think sometimes they pacify the sport a lot too because it is girls. And it goes back to what Q said as far as us having a conversation with the person. I realized that they really don't respect the sport in general. I'll go back to that because even with some of the concerns that we had last season about some of the statements and comments in which, these are our opinions, like we always say, but they weren't respected either because they expect for us to pacify people as far as what we say about what we see a lot of the times as well. They're a lot harder on guys. Like when people give their critiques about guys and how they play, they expect guys to suck it up and just take the critiques and move on from it. But they expect us not to do the same as far as cheer is concerned. And then they try to pacify it by saying that, it takes a lot to compete. It does take a lot to compete, but this is something that you chose to do. And at some point, you're going to have to be critiqued, or people are going to offer their opinions about it. And you just have to respect that people are going to have a difference of opinions. But at the same time, it's like, why should we have to hold back or not excel in the sport or grow in the sport because of the fact that they want us to continuously pacify individuals about how they feel about it, if I'm making sense, as far as not respecting the sport in general. I just think that sometimes we just get to a point to where I wonder if it really be recognized, because yes, we are girls and we do cheer, but that don't mean you have to protect us from each and everything in life and itself. We're just as tough as anybody else. If I made sense. Sorry.
I mean, you kind of went on a rant and it went left, but I see where you were going with it. um, I don't know. So I guess step one is to make them respect the sport, and how to get somebody to respect something that they choose not to pay attention to. I have no idea.
I think it's just because we're girls. And I
I
think
mean, there's a fair share of guys.
true, but
There's a fair share of guys.
it has guys.
Maybe that's what it has to be. So like let's go backwards into cheer history. Cheer wasn't started by a girl. The first cheer team had no girls on it.
Correct.
Um when girls started being added on the team, it was not because they just wanted girls to be on the team, more so because those men started going to war. Maybe we're gonna have to use the manpower to go in the men's spaces to get the respect that cheer has always deserved.
Maybe. But maybe they just consider it, like you said, just a soft sport for us to be pretty and stand in front of people.
All right. So I have was able to find 29. So Florida, Georgia, Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Maine, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Virginia, West Virginia, Vermont, and California. I'm trying to find. Oh, and South Carolina. That's the 31.
So it sounds like those states in what we consider the Midwest are the ones that are reluctant to
Mhm.
consider it cheer. And
Mhm.
that makes a lot of sense. Why? Because those areas aren't very high population areas, period. There are a lot of grassland and um mountain
Mountains.
area. Yeah, you don't have a high population of people in general. So if my focus is farming, it is not gonna be switched over to making cheer a sport.
Yeah.
Torrance said that it's gonna be hard because cheer is too feminine. I don't think cheer is feminine. I think people make cheer feminine, but when cheer is just done as cheer is supposed to be, it's not
Yeah.
feminine.
But it's so different
Um,
across the board, though. I
Yeah.
think do you ever think we'll get to a point where cheer is the same across the board?
I think we have cheer where it's the same across the board because of the rules and regulations that we have in national competitions. I think where it switches is when you get to like your regional styles of cheer on the sideline, but when it comes to competitive cheer, it's the same across the board. Don't have a choice.
So, Ruben stated it is seen different at different schools, especially in colleges and also in certain high schools. But would that make
That's the thing.
that would make it reluctant for some people if it's not the same across the board?
And
No,
it's
I think he's responding to the feminine response. Um because yes, that is looked at very differently on the collegiate level and high school level. On the high school level, it is kind of looked at as feminine, and then on the college level, where you see the guys not doing the cheers and more so just saying the words and lifting and stunning, um is why it's not looked at so feminine on a high school level, independent on the cheer coach. I mean, it's not looked at so feminine on the collegiate level, but depending on the coach on the high school level, it's not going to be feminine either. And that's more so sideline. When you're talking about competitive cheer,
He was saying as far as being recognized.
I don't think it has anything to do with femininity. Um,
No, saying that it's different. It's he was saying that it's different in different schools being
being
recognized.
recognized as a sport. Got you. Okay. Got you.
yeah, because I mean we see it in this county. You know what I'm saying? There are some schools that cheerleading is just not an importance. Maybe because they don't have a high population of students who interested in cheerleading. Um,
I
but
think schools just have it just to have it. It's not a competitive thing for them.
it's
They
a
have,
club still. It's still classified as a club, although they have a whole state championship.
they have it, and to have people on the sidelines to cheer or things of that nature, but they don't really see it as um, a competitive avenue for their particular school.
And I think if more people understood and knew, because I think even in the long, grand scheme of things, you play football, your end goal is the NFL.
Hmm.
You play basketball, the end goal is the NBA or the WNBA. Track and field, your goal is the Olympics to get some kind of a contract or something. But at the end of the day, I don't think people see cheerleading as a end goal in terms of once you're done, cheerleading. Once you're done competing, what's left to do? You know, you can't.
Definitely.
And that's why the people gotta put cheer not just as an Olympic sport, not just considering as an Olympic sport. Thank you for doing that. However, we have to see it in the Olympics in order for people to say,
This
I
is
want to be on the US or Canadian Olympic cheer team. Because we do have people that be cheering forever, but people don't realize that there are
Yeah.
people that's cheering forever. Like what's your boy from cheer?
Which one?
The black dude that's from Florida.
The coach from the other school?
He was on Navarro.
Oh, was it this not it's not Torrance.
And then the bald dude that also cheered with Navarro. He was on season one, and all both of them was on season one and season
Yeah,
two.
I know which one you're talking about.
Both of them be cheering, they've been cheering forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it in a like a shot throwing kind of way, because a lot of them, they're just some that we know because we watch the show and they're kind of out there and we see them in the cheer world. But there are a lot of guys that are going from JUCO to the bigger colleges, cheering in the bigger colleges, and they cheer all star. People, it's some people out there that's cheering till they about 30, but it's not the same as a professional sport, like you said, football, basketball, track, hell, golf, badminton. You not you're not personally getting paid to go do this. You're doing it because you enjoy doing it. You might get a sponsorship so you don't have to pay the fees.
Yeah.
But other than like you can't pay none of your bills to go cheer.
It would definitely be something you do on the side.
So that's what it is. What is the end goal? Like I said, with the NFL, with the football and basketball, you have an end goal. You have something to aspire to, work hard towards. But what is that for cheerleading? Because after a while,
Mm-hmm.
have to, you know what I'm saying? They have to make those adult decisions, same as in any other sport. You got to make an adult decision. Is it worth it? Is it worth me going back out there to compete on this type of level? And my body is slowly, that check engine light is come on and it's not going off. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah. So another topic that I had brought up was booster clubs.
Mm.
Um, how many of you all, teams, coaches, or whatever that's watching, how many of you all utilize a booster club um in support of your cheer program?
That would be interesting to know.
Yeah, how many of your teams have booster clubs, or they have some governing body that supports the program? I had saw an article.
Lonnie Howe said, "Not me." What do
So
you coach, Lonnie? And I hope they say Lonnie and not something else.
No parental involvement, she said.
mm,
That sounds like pure accuracy.
yeah. So I was look I when I was on Google looking at some different topics and stuff, whatever, about cheerleading. I came across an article where um a booster club became bigger than the program in
Oh,
terms of the booster club pretty much was like, if you ain't producing, baby, we firing you.
what?
They put in their governing, their
Okay, wait. So clear this up.
So the booster club basically
Club,
became the hiring and the firing agent.
I was about to ask. So they forget the principal and the president. It's the booster club that got control.
so I guess what
So
it was
is this the sports booster club or just the cheer booster club?
it was for cheerleading only. So the cheer booster
Okay,
club
booster
was
club, this type of
they're
power.
the one that fronts the I want to say stipend or the salary of the coaches.
Oh,
Well, then they got a point.
got it.
I'm
So
not giving you no money if you ain't.
If you
So, which I, of course, I started digging a little deeper that a lot of other sports booster clubs fund that extra, income for coaches. So if the state only gives a certain amount of a stipend for coaching, the booster club comes in and kind of, you know what I'm saying, offsets or levels that particular coach's salary in support of that particular sport. So this booster club became bigger than the program. So if you were not producing, they fired you, and it was in their bylaws. It was in, so they were pretty much like, you say the hire and the firers. And if you weren't producing, baby, you
so
got the eggs.
it, okay, so is this a competitive? Oh God,
This
is
is a competitive team, and it's in Arkansas.
question is that's what I'm asking because
Okay, so here's my question
what's
though.
the reason?
When you apply for the job, who do you apply to? The school or to them?
So the program, the booster club is, I guess it's not a part of the school per se,
Right.
but because they are the ones who's fronting the salary, you apply to the school for the coaching job, but the booster club is the ones that's doing the hire, that's doing the interviewing part of it. So
Okay.
the principal is a part of it. Like the principal has his or her staff or administrators, administration, whoever that's involved with the hiring process, but ultimately it's the decision of the booster club.
So they're the community people. I see how they're going about it the legal way. Um, because if you're hired by the school, then the outside entity should not be able to take that. But when you're included, well, I don't know. I can't speak on Arkansas because never lived there, never worked there, never. I've been to Arkansas, but
This is interesting.
when you when in most places hire, I know for the most part in the state of Florida. Well, I'm not even gonna say in the state of Florida. I know in South Florida because I know in Miami and in Broward County, when there's a hiring process going on for a coach, there is community involvement in like those interviews. So if their process is similar, that's their community involvement in those interviews.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. Because I know that there are schools in Florida or South Florida, a lot of different places where the Booster Club kind of pick up the slack.
Yeah.
I know for a fact
The financial slack.
right. I know for a fact that Pompano Strong is a group in for Ely who is picking up the slack for their football coaching staff. They raise money basically to do that, and they try to do it for other teams as well, but because they were having issue with the football head coach, they kind of stood behind their current head coach and got a little extra money in to pay his staff so that they could get their football back up to standard. So yeah, it's not unheard of that the booster clubs do help fund the coaches' pockets, but to say you either get the check or the X.
I'm still on the part. So, what is the nature of producing in my book? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it that they compete and don't win nothing, or
That's it, baby. You win or you go home. And when we say go home, meaning you go home. That means you're no longer coaching for us if you can't win.
But when you think about it on a collegiate level, think about how the
just how to be?
football coaches get fired. It don't be because of the athletic department.
No,
It
it's
be because of the boosters. They say enough is enough. We not winning. Get rid of them. And if we gonna keep pumping money into your program, you better make sure you get rid of them. And
but
that's what it is.
I
Now
feel
they don't do the hiring and the firing. However, they make a stand to say
they play a major
we
role.
not putting no more money in until this person goes.
But my thing,
Or they'll say we'll foot the bill that you would have to pay if you fire this person just to get them out the way because they not producing.
but it cheer is so different.
Well,
I
it's
wouldn't say
okay.
it's different.
So think about it. In some of these states, cheerleading is major. Like at one point, Kentucky cheerleading was bigger than the programs, than the other athletic programs, because they were winning national championships after national championships. They were nationally recognized. They were bringing in a lot of money, booster money, because there was such a good cheer program there. I mean, still is, but in some states in which like Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, cheerleading, Kentucky cheerleading is if not as popular or more popular than football to a certain extent. Um, those people pump a lot of money into those programs. So my understanding originally when I saw the article, I was like, okay, I boost the club. Okay, you raise your funds and the team the uniforms or whatever you want to use the money for. I get it. But then when I started reading a little bit more into it, I was like, oh, this is different. I've never heard this before. I'm thinking the booster club is just to hire fire, but just to raise money and be of assistance to the program. But these people are like, no.
They cutthroat.
So
We
how
need
do
to,
you control that? Like, so
we need to
reading
find
said
it.
booster clubs are needed in most cases. Yes, they are
They are.
because it keeps you from having to deal with your administration when it comes to money, and they can a lot of times gather money that you can't connect to, or they have the time to do it when you don't. However, how do you control that? How do you make sure that your booster club does not get basically beyond themselves? How? Because
That
you
was
want the money.
They
that's
have bylaws. They
actually
have bylaws that they have to follow.
who
So,
get
like any association or any, you know what I'm saying, any entity that have a governing body, you have to have bylaws to keep things. That's the checks and balances.
but
So I don't know how. Like I didn't read the bylaws.
who to create these bylaws? Like who gives this booster club this type of power
It had to
And
start
are
from
the
somewhere.
coaches and the school in on
on the bylaws?
assisting with the bylaws? Because if the booster club, who is technically not a part of the school and also technically are not a part of that cheer program or whatever sports program it is, how do you create bylaws that affects both?
Well, see, here's the
Or
thing. I don't know. I can assume that it probably started something small. Maybe, 5 to 6 people got together and say, hey, we're going to create a booster club to support this cheer program and whatever. It probably grew to something bigger. You know what I'm saying? Because as the team probably got better, more people just started bumping more money into it. I don't know where they had to create bylaws. At the end of the day, a booster club, I guess it depends on who is defining it. And I believe I don't know if it's the state of Florida or just in Broward County, a booster club can be pretty much monitored by the principal because it's an extension of the school.
or the president of the school.
You get what I'm saying? So the principal can pretty much say, yeah, this thing working for us. It's time to scrap the booster club. Versus, the booster club telling the principal, no, we're paying the salary. So you can't tell us anything. You can't, we give you we give you participation in terms of we can, during the hiring process, but as far as cheerleading is concerned and making decisions, you ain't got no say so
Do you
because
think
you're
that
paying the salary.
where they're located as well?
Huh?
Do you feel like that where they're located it plays a part in that as well?
Could be.
I'm sure it does. I'm
It could
sure it
be.
does.
It could be.
Because if it's an area that's high on cheer,
Yeah, that's interesting though.
Yeah.
because I mean, just think about it. How many coaches we can name in South Florida that can say, "Hey, do you have a cheer booster club for your team?"
I
Probably
mean,
maybe 3 or 4 in the whole South Florida.
Mhm.
yeah. And I don't see any like I don't see any no comments that said that some of these programs have booster clubs and everything. But I definitely think that some governing body in terms of uh finances or just overall community involvement should be involved with the chip program if it's
You
if
killing
it's
bugs?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I just saw something floating, and it could have been anything. I don't know what that was. I just saw something.
Thought you was right here catching
It could,
mosquitoes.
or it could be my dang on raggedy behind glasses. They all stuffed up too. So there's a very good chance that it was probably just a figment of my lenses.
This is true.
This is the
So but I think at some point, y'all don't judge me. This
I'm
is
not.
this
I'm
is
laughing at
No, I just had to.
I
this is
can't.
What was really going on?
no, I saw something like doing this, and I just reached, and I'm like, oh snap! It's probably my scuffed up glasses.
I wasn't ready. That just threw me for a loop. Okay. So being that we talk about the booster clubs that does the hiring and the firing of the coaches, what do you think as far as a booster club? I'm gonna take it a little step further. What do you think they feel is the qualifications of a coach when they're doing the hiring? We already know what they're firing for. But what do you think a booster club looks for when they're hiring a coach?
I mean, if they're former cheer parents or current cheer parents or something like that, I'm sure they know what they looking for. They know to look for the correct things. They probably do a better job than the principal and athletic directors do at the school. And that's probably why they've been given the privilege because those people don't know.
Yeah. Well, what do you all think is the criteria to be a good cheer coach? Or should we say that topic for another episode?
I think we could table this because we already at an hour and 5 minutes. So I think we could table it.
That list might be a little long.
So maybe we're gonna table that. We're gonna come back on another episode on what we think will be a
Yes.
good criteria to be a coach,
I
to
agree
be a
with
cheer coach.
Lonnie Howe say they be looking for yes men, and they do.
and they do. I think they look. Some of them look for across the board with sports in general.
Agree. Or the least likely or the most likely they can control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whoever's gonna be more militant and resistant is what they probably gonna stay far away from as much as possible.
Ruben say they looking for a coach with a championship background.
Well,
If they ain't never coached before, they ain't got that.
I was about to say, usually them people don't leave the school that they at.
Yeah.
Other circumstances.
And championship on what level? Because right
Right.
now we're seeing the influx of little league coaches coming into high school, coaching, and
Now we could table that for another discussion as well.
yeah. So I mean,
That
what
is interesting.
yeah.
Can even if a person is successful in the little league background, does that mean that a person can be successful in the high school background?
We've seen that play out both ways.
Absolutely. But
We've seen that play out both ways.
It's kind of 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on your mental and what you're willing to do. So if you're okay with trying to stay stagnant and do what you've been doing, you're probably not going to be successful. If you're open to learning
That part right there.
and to improving and developing, you definitely can be successful on the high school level and above, but
And that's it.
you got to be open to it.
And that's just with coaching overall across the board, regardless of whatever sport it is. You have to be open to, improving. And you have to be open to, hearing the criticism and, hearing the feedback and, you just, learning, you know what I'm saying? And studying, researching. You have to, that's across the board regardless of whatever sport it is.
Miss Lonnie Hound said, I don't like how some high school teams here in Miami look and sound like Optimist teams.
I don't like it either.
And Lonnie, it's not only in Miami. It's not only in Miami. It's in Broward as well. We just have more teams that don't sound like Optimist teams than do sound like Optimist teams because we got that west side like your Coral Glaze, your West Broward, your Westerns, and then you have your Dillards. I'm trying to think of another team on the east side that is not Optimist-ish.
Miramar isn't.
On the sideline? I haven't seen Miramar cheer on the sideline in a while.
They Optimists.
They've gotten better.
Now that is very true. I just saw them on Friday when they did a live stream of the Dillon and Miramar game.
Wait, pause. Ruby said table this. I agree, Ruben. I think all of this kind of goes into one subject.
It's the eyeball in the laugh emoji.
In the laugh emoji, because I already know where this is going.
So we gonna table that. Let me put this in the notes right now.
So the next episode, we're gonna talk about
coaches quality.
Yes, we can go all night, Ruben. We definitely can. We're talking about what you look for in bringing in a high school coach. Can Optimist coach be successful on the high school level? Why these high school teams sound like Paul? And I think we covered it all.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's gonna be great.
What's the second one you said, Ishmael?
I don't remember
You
because I
said
didn't
coaching.
follow
You
them.
said
It's
coaching qualifications for high school, and
post-
then why these high school teams looking like the Park or Optimist, and then what was the other one?
And if high school, I mean, Elizabeth coaches can be successful on a high school level, and I think we can bump it up another notch as well. Can high school coaches be successful on a college level? And can a lower level coach be successful on the all-star level? I think we can make that go all the way around.
Ooh, now that's gonna be a topic right there.
But I think it's all in the mindset of the person. But I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up because we moving this to another day.
Mm.
Also, I mentioned this and y'all didn't give me much feedback, but I think we've been getting a decent amount of people to jump in and jump out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we advertise it, 1 week we need to do like networking a networking show because we got a lot of great people. We don't know necessarily where they are and what they do, and we all need something at some time. Shoot, you might need to fix your credit. You might need a bankruptcy person. You might need a car. Am I telling all my business?
I'm like,
No, but seriously, my job that I got when I was teaching in Miami, that's how I got that job. It was a post on Facebook and the FYFL Trash Talk group, and it was like, "Hey, list your occupation or what you do and or what you would like to do. Like, what is your life goal?" And there was a lady in there, Rashay Sweden. I love her dearly. Um, she put that she owned the school. I didn't see it, but I also put that I was an aspiring teacher at the time because I wasn't teaching. And we connected, and I ended up working at her school for 8 years, where her lead teacher basically ran the school when she wasn't in the building. And I'm sure there are so many people out there that need that little small piece of hope or just getting things that they need done. So I
Um,
think that'll be a good little thing. Maybe it's some kids out there that's looking to go to college and don't know where to start. Let's network.
okay, and also we have a giveaway going on right now.
oh, we do.
We
Trying
we
to
We
have a
do.
giveaway going on right now, and our quest to 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I forgot to include the 100 followers or subscriptions on YouTube, but we'll do that for another time. But our quest to 1,000 followers on Instagram. Okay. Let me try to pull it up real quick. But go ahead, y'all can go ahead and talk while I pull it up.
Amar, girl, I cannot figure out how to say all that, so I'm just calling you Amar. Hey.
Is that Amaris?
Oh wait, okay, I got a scratch on my phone. I thought it was a J. It is definitely Amaris. Hey, girl.
Hey,
It's a scratch right up under there. I thought it was a J. My bad, girl. Hey, girl.
you need to do
How
better.
is college?
Well, you know, maybe we can make the post, and maybe we could create a form where everybody can, put what they're featuring, and maybe we can feature that person or that, spotlight that person. They could come on and explain what they do.
This is true. This is true. We might need some cheer vendors.
How do you feel about the new division game day? I actually am crossing
I
over to
love game day. Game day is so cute.
Like I said, when I went to qualifiers in December, I was getting ready to walk out to get food, and then I heard music playing, and it was the little baby. I don't know that dance like a lean. Look through the hands on your knees. That song came on, so of course I was like, "Oh snap, who playing Little Baby?" So I turned around, and
Listen,
it
your
was
age kicked in because that is not. Wait, it is little baby.
no. I said
Wait,
the
no,
baby.
it's the baby.
Yeah, the baby.
I thought
Right,
you
and
said
that's his
little
name, the
baby.
baby.
the baby.
You
And
know, it's little baby and the baby.
Yeah, no, it was the baby.
It's the
So
baby.
the baby. So I turned around and it was a whole routine that they were dancing and they had the palms, they were doing some stunting, and I was like, oh, what is this? And they was like, oh, this is game day. I was like, ah. So I turned back around because I had to finish watching. I am so excited for game day.
Yeah.
That
Day, I think is even more fun.
yeah.
It speaks to my personality when it comes to cheer. It is so excited.
I think I saw the first time I saw it was when we went to the last day of cheer camp. Um
Wait a minute, not FHSAA making you choose.
oh well, that sucks.
What you mean making them choose?
Either you going into regular comp or you going into game day.
Hmm.
So they can't have two schools to have two squads
Two
for one school.
teams.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make the assumption no.
I'm gonna make that assumption. The school has to represent one or the other.
But that's only for state.
That sucks.
Yeah, that do suck.
That sucks big time. One or the other. The school can only have. I'm taking it as the school can only have one representation of a team. They always trying to get somebody a chance to win. Ugh.
Yeah, when he just said that, that's the first thing I thought. Okay, well they can't compete with the big dogs. I'm gonna go on over to game day, but I like game day. Game day is so cute,
But
and I
that's
think
kinda like
it's
what
so
they're
fun.
doing for all sports now. Isn't that what they did with the whole football, the different divisions now with suburban, urban?
Metro.
That's finna go away too because that didn't play out the way that they wanted it to. Wow, that is funny. FHSAA is at it again.
Does this mean our days are going to be longer?
Unless
Maybe not. So, because maybe some of those teams that were one of the millions, the 19 teams that would be in small nine tumbling, or go ahead over and do game day.
pause.
You ain't right at all.
Listen, Isha, you ain't never lied on that one.
Ooh.
But
I'm
pause.
just saying.
Let's go back to this giveaway real quick.
Yes.
So, in our quest to 1K, 1,000 followers, we want to select a follower to win some exclusive Cheer Chatter Inc. merch and have your team be featured on our IG page and on our podcast. But first, you must follow at cheer__chatter on Instagram. Subscribe to our Cheer Chatter podcast on YouTube channel, which is at Cheer Chatter 23. Tag 2 of your cheermates and repost this flyer. Okay. So if you do all of that, you will be added so that way we can pull a name and give them some exclusive merch and celebrate you. All right. So let's go. Let's get into it. All right. Let's get these followers up because we've been doing this for 3 seasons now, and we ain't get our we need to get our followers up.
We've been doing good this summer though. I will
Yeah.
say that. Definitely.
We need to get our followers up. So not only do we need to have your team follow us, we need to have all of your cheerleaders, all of your cheermates, all the alumni, all the parents, daddies, uncles, aunties. We want everybody to follow us.
And they don't have to be local. They could be
Sure
somewhere
don't.
else. Because remember, we are branching out. We got some things that we getting ready to come into that are already into play, where the people on the other end of the world will be very pleased about us just as well as y'all are. So they ain't got to be in Florida. They could be in Alaska if they want to be.
And I'm done.
We thinking global right now. We taking this out. We taking this to the road. We taking this on the road, and we want all teams, whatever state that you're living in, whatever country that you're living in. If you are a cheerleader, we want you to go ahead and click follow and subscribe to our Instagram and YouTube channels, so that way we can get our followers up and we can be able to spread the love that we have for cheerleading and talk about all things cheer. All right, ladies, we've been on here for a whole hour and 20 seconds. 20 minutes.
Say 20 seconds. Am I
Okay.
looking
It's probably my little scuffed up glasses. The little dots is they all blended in together right now. But so before we close out, and what do y'all have any parting words that y'all want to share with our viewers tonight?
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned because we have so many things in store for the wonderful world of Cheer Chatter.
Yeah, so stay tuned. I want y'all to go through this journey with us. When we share this news, y'all gonna be like, "Those girls doing some things over there."
We been off the scenes, but we ain't stopped working behind the scenes.
We have been noticed.
Yeah, and I will be myself as well as Shira, who we are missing tonight. Hey, Shira, if you're watching, we miss you tonight. We will be randomly reaching out to teams so that way we can start profiling and recognizing just random teams on our page. So if Cheer Chatter hits your inbox, this is not spam. This is us actually asking you to give us some information about your team so that way we can spotlight you all and give you all a shout out on our weekly episodes. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Randomly, I will be hitting y'all up in your DMs. So check them. Make sure it's us. It's us. Cheer Chatter.
Also, any coaches that's willing to come on and talk about your upcoming season, we're looking for you. We would love to feature you, interview you, chit chat a little bit, spread the word about your cheer team and what they have coming up and what you're looking forward to. Get recognition for your team in general. We're looking forward to it.
All right. So, it's been real, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. We definitely thank you for participating in the conversation today. Until next Sunday, everyone, cheerfully yours.
Do I have your attention? Do I have your attention? Do I have your attention?
3, 2, let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We're reaching for the top, and we'll never fall below.
I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feel? My hair talk, check my nails.
Production.